Good morning,
Good afternoon.
good night, and welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef,
And I'm Gigi.
and we're excited to be here.
Listen, thanks for checking in.
Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef,
And I'm Gigi.
and G, this feels good. We're knocking them out, huh?
Knocking them out.
All right, listen, we were off for some time. This is our second show back, and we got a lot of energy. I know, Gigi, I got a lot of energy.
Roaring, ready to go.
I'm ready to go because I'm excited to be next to my partner.
Listen,
you know,
I miss you, man.
I miss you too. I
Let's
mean,
keep this
Gigi
grind
and
going.
we stated to you guys, we get together weekly, but we missed a few weeks because we've been so busy doing our independent things. And so we haven't had that time. Yes, we haven't had that time to, just
Just to connect.
to connect.
So you're seeing it live.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are reconnecting right here, right
absolutely,
now.
absolutely.
Yes.
And listen, so this is important because I know I get hit up and they say, Teef, I'm interested in being on the show, or I have a story to tell, and that's great. So here's the reply. If you would like to be on the platform, please email us. There it is on the bottom. teefgg@gmail.com, teefgg@gmail.com. Our platform is very simple. We just want you to tell your story.
Tell your story.
That's it. Everyone has a story, a very interesting story. And if we can use our platform to bring some light to your program, your life,
Work, yeah.
whatever we can do, we want to do it. All right.
That's right.
So we're excited. So G,
Yeah.
like you said,
How have you been?
okay. So I've been extremely busy, family things.
Yeah.
Trying to go back to, looking at going to Dallas for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, daughter's in Dallas, or
Yeah.
going to Columbus, Ohio for Christmas. So we're trying to figure it out which way we're
Okay,
going to go.
all right, what the
We're
plan's
going to
gonna
do with
be.
that. In regards to, but you know what I've been doing around my house? So it's fall time. And just like you, Gigi loves taking care of her yard as
I
well.
do.
Okay.
That's one of my things. Yeah.
And that's my thing.
I know.
So I've been doing a lot of cleaning,
Yeah.
bringing a lot of stuff out, putting it on the curb, try to get the grass right for the fall because you got everybody coming by and et cetera, et cetera. And just doing a lot of house cleaning, just really getting the house ready, getting the house ready because I'm gonna tell you, G, 2024, I'm excited.
You ready?
I got a lot of great things that I'm gonna fill you in, and then I'm gonna fill the world in on 2024. So I'm excited.
All right. I'm
I'm
excited.
excited. So tell me what's going on with you.
Let's see. So I'll tell you, in my family, October is a big birthday month.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so, I have my sister, Suselle, my niece,
Suselle.
Kayla, my nephew, Amori, my, my dad turned
there you go.
75 this year.
Ooh, baby boomer, baby
75,
boomer.
big celebration. So we did all of that. I got a new nephew.
Oh,
That was born
congratulations.
September 30th.
Nice.
My brand new nephew Christian, and then my daughter's birthday is September 27th. My mother-in-law's birthday is like the week before. So we're like
They got a big family, big
and let me
family.
tell you, if anybody knows my family, we celebrate some birthdays.
They got a big family.
We get together and we love on each other. So my father-in-law's birthday is the day before my mother-in-law's birthday in September. So it's been celebration after celebration, and I've loved it. And just really just getting ready, much like you said, getting ready for the season to change.
Absolutely.
Getting ready
absolutely.
for that. I feel really excited for 2024.
So who's hosting Thanksgiving this year at your house?
So we switch often between my brother Jason and my house. And last year we did it at his house. It might be at my house this year.
All right.
We'll see. And we do it potluck style. So
You a potluck, yeah.
Everybody brings something. But we have a good.
So
that's
G,
one of my favorites.
what do we do in the summertime? It's always at my house, and everybody we do a potluck style.
cookout.
Everybody brings something to the cookout, right, G?
Yeah,
And we have a great time.
I had a good time this past
Oh,
year.
a lot of laughs. A lot of laughs.
A lot of good games.
Adam.
Teef comes with the games. My husband came this year and just shook everybody's world. Everybody's
Adam's,
preparing for next year to try to beat my husband.
Yeah, Adam's the chair. No one was expecting Adam to win that game.
Trivia
He was
master.
what the heck?
Yeah.
Listen, excited. We got a great show in front of you. I hope you guys are ready. You ready? Here we go. Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
I'm so excited, ladies and gentlemen,
Look who
from
we got.
around the world, from around the state. We have Mr. John Vigliotte, better known as Mr. V. Everyone knows Mr. V. Mr. V, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
Ah, we are excited to have you. We are extremely. Listen, I said your name before the show, and our producer was sitting there, and he
He
goes,
said, "Wait a minute."
"Mr. V, you know, you know Mr. V." I'm like, everyone. I've been
Yeah,
telling Gigi,
yeah.
everyone knows Mr. V, especially around the greater New Haven area. So we're excited to have you. I'm going to tell the world your background. But you asked Gigi a question off camera. What did you ask her?
I think I asked her where she went to
He
school.
said, "Where are you from?" "I don't know you, young lady."
Yeah.
Not a direct quote. So I'm also from New Haven. I went to Wilbercross High School, graduated class of '92 with my brother over here,
That's
Chief
right.
Roberts. But I was not an athlete, so I'm under your radar. You missed meeting me, and I missed meeting you.
And you went to middle school where?
I went to middle school. So here's my resume. I went to Benjamin Jepson, that closed down. Went to Quinnipiac Elementary. Then I went to Conti Arts Magnet School, which then closed down. And then it became Betsy Ross. And then I went on to Wilbercross.
And then she went
Well,
on
I
to.
just missed you because I was the principal at Jepson and Quinnipiac.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. No, not at Jepson, because
And
Jepson before it was the big school. I was when it was a little brick house on Quinnipiac Avenue.
yeah, that's where I was, 94 to 2003.
Oh, yeah,
But you were already out of school by then.
yeah,
well, we're
yes,
going to go back even before that because we
yes.
met in the 80s, but you were around long before that. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to get into your story, Mr. V. So, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yes.
I felt that you have such an amazing story because you have touched so many lives. And that's honestly, I want to give you your flowers while I have you on camera. Let me tell you how, first of all, how I ran into Mr. V.
Yes, yeah.
So, our friend, high school friend, Jermaine Gambrell, was coming into town. And he
Uh-huh.
said, Teef, I'm going to be in town for like 2, 3 days. Let's get together for lunch or breakfast. I said, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out to North Haven. And as soon as we walk in, who do I see?
Oh,
Mr. V. And he jumps up and he's the same exact personality from when you were a kid. So much love. He's, oh
yeah.
my goodness, give me a hug. How you been? How's everything going? Listen, let's get together. Are you gonna call me? He gives you his business
Yeah,
card.
yeah, yeah.
No, I said call me. Are you gonna call me? Let's have lunch. So I said, V, I want to do one better. I said, I would love to have you on the podcast, et cetera, et
Yes.
cetera. And he said, sure, let's do it.
Share the wealth. That way I get to meet you too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So V, let's go back through the process, okay? So where are you originally from?
Actually, I was born around the corner from Jepson
Okay,
on Fairmont Avenue
Oh
okay,
till
my.
about the age of two, when my folks moved. My folks moved myself. I was the first child. My sister came around when I was close to 9 years old, born in North Haven. But I
Mm-hmm.
moved out to the Montauk section in North Haven
okay.
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
did all my schooling there. And to be honest with you, being in a largely majority community, I realized there was more to this world than North Haven.
Yeah.
That's right.
So as a result, um, ended up back in New Haven. Actually, uh, been married 45 years. Been in New Haven for 45 years.
Congratulations. That's an
Um,
achievement.
Yes.
but make a long story short, my next door neighbor in North Haven was Mr. Pat Danello, who became assistant superintendent, district supervisor, public schools, longtime principal at Prince and then Bishop Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as a young guy, I would see him, just the effect he had on kids. I would go to Prince School with him,
Okay.
10, 11 years old, spend the day. He would charge the kids 25 cents to come in on a Saturday. And he had Jimmy Wolf,
Yeah, Mr. Wolf.
longtime hoop coach at Hill House, and
Absolutely.
then phys ed teacher at Prince. He would have him man the gym, and then he would have a reel to reel movie with
Oh
popcorn and soda
wow.
and ice
Mm-hmm.
cream. And he would do this every Saturday. And make a long story short, we would go to it and hang out there, and we probably would be, myself and his son Mark were probably the only two white kids there, and befriended a lot of the Prince kids, and just saw the impact that he had on the community. And this was all volunteer on a Saturday.
Right.
And then we would go around the city with my friend Mark's dad, Pat Danello, and wherever we went, it was Yo, Mr. D.
Mr.
And I
D.
would say to myself, my, wherever we go,
People
it's
know him.
powerful. This guy
Mm-hmm.
knows everybody.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 20 odd years later, it would be Yo, Mr. V.
There
Yo,
you go.
Mr.
There you
V.
go.
As I had, he was my mentor. He got me in the school system and had chances to go other places, and somehow or another spent 37 and a half years in New Haven.
Wow.
Okay,
And
so
well spent, and really would have continued had the insurance for the school administrators not taken a turn for the worst.
so I don't
So I
want to
left at 37 and a half years.
so I don't want to go too far, Mr. V. I want to back up a little because I want you to tell your story in increments. So okay, so you said it's two you and your sister. You were born in New Haven, grew up in North Haven. Did you go to North Haven High as well? Did you stay in went to North
Right.
Haven High? Okay. Did you play any sports?
Yeah, a little baseball, a little basketball.
All
Okay,
right.
okay, okay. Now, what kind of student were you? Because Gigi was
Uh,
a student.
bright, bright, but not that focused.
Okay.
And 8 years later, my sister came along, and of course, she was focused. She had
Ah.
got together. I was playful, talkative, and haven't changed a bit.
She showed you how to get it done.
Well, she did get it done, and to be
Yeah.
honest with you, most people couldn't believe she was my sister because I
Wow.
was more interested in hustling people for some spare change in the gym than attending all my classes.
Now, where'd you go to undergrad after you graduated from North Haven High? Where'd you go to
I went
undergrad?
to Central Connecticut,
Oh, into Central.
up
Okay.
in New Britain.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
up in New Britain. I was a phys ed and history major, education, and myself and a couple buddies, we ran all the intramurals at the school
Okay.
At
from an
Central.
early
Mhm.
at Central,
Hmm.
and majored in PE. Wanted to coach, wanted to teach, and then was lucky enough to get in back into New Haven after college. Pat Dinello again got me in for $20 a day,
Okay.
no sick days, no benefits, teaching 50 phys ed classes a week
Woo.
50.
at
Just
Barnard.
paying dues. Just paying dues.
Yeah, well, my buddy did it for 3 years. I did it for one.
Oh.
And then the next year, I got a whopping $9,500 a year. And a little after that, I was actually eligible for welfare.
Oh
I was
wow.
like,
That's how bad the salary was.
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
wow,
Wife
wow.
was home with 3 kids. Excuse me, was home with 2 kids at the time. We have 4. And at that time, we were eligible for welfare, and that spurred my interest in becoming a realtor. And so
Ah.
for the last 43 years, I've sold real estate. And that was to make ends meet because the teaching, so many of my teaching colleagues left teaching
Yeah.
to go into some other field.
Wow.
But
So
so that's kind of a quick summary.
yeah.
Uh,
No, I don't want a
spent
quick
4
summary.
years.
I want a story. I don't want a quick summary. I want the whole enchilada. So
Well,
okay. So
go ahead. Did the 4 years at Central,
yeah.
and then soon after got a master's in exercise science at
Mm.
Southern,
Okay.
and soon after that got a 6th year in school administration.
Wow. There
All the
you go.
while selling the real estate, all the while coaching first at North Haven High men, and I am just about to enter my 39th year coaching women.
See, I didn't know any
Uh,
of this.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah,
I'm slowly going through the process because it's a lot of guys that are watching this that know Mr. V, like our producer, but we don't know the entire story because I'm sitting here saying you're known for basketball. Most of the guys that grew up in our state or in the New Haven area, everyone knows Mr. V as he plays ball with everyone.
Yeah.
I did not know you coach. So you coach at North Haven, you said?
North Haven High, and then 6 years the Lee Girls,
For
which
basketball.
is now defunct, Lee, yeah, basketball,
Wow.
and then 12 years at Southern, and 10 years at Quinnipiac.
Didn't know that.
I don't
So
think a lot of
I
people
want
knew
to
this.
take it even a bit further because you've got some intimate knowledge. Like you know a bit more about
Yes.
Mr. V. When all the folks that know you, how did they know you? What was the relationship? What is it that you were doing in and around New Haven? Like how is it that everybody gets to say, "Hey, Mr. V"? What was going on?
Well, I spent my off hours, my good friend Joe Cansanella, the former head of PE and athletics in New Haven,
Absolutely.
and then the head of the Coaches Association for the CIAC. September 15th was a sad day. He went out to play some racquetball and that was his demise. He collapsed on the floor. And Joe was the rec director in Westville, then the boys club director, and then a principal, and then eventually the athletic director. But I worked for, I don't know, 10, 15 years in the Westville rec department running programs at Sheridan and Davis.
Right. There you go.
And so I got to know kids there. And
There's
simultaneously, I was teaching at Sheridan,
Yes, he was.
teaching
Yes.
basically an exercise science, life science, sex ed, drugs and substance abuse course that I kind of put together. At that time, whatever book was in your closet, well, that was the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Science department didn't have a set curriculum. I had a lot of kids that were at risk. So I tried to teach areas of education that would benefit them at 13 years old.
So like a life skills class for middle schoolers.
Yeah, life skills, and there was a half
living.
dozen of us in the city teaching sex ed, and we had numerous occasions to have kids with STDs, unwanted pregnancies, and yet I don't think we were doing what we needed to do as a school system to support their needs. So I was kind of all over the place and trying to keep a lot of irons in the fire. And then eventually, actually, Joe Canzanella spurred me. He says, V, you got all this energy, and we have a lot of school administrators who have little energy or no energy. You need to become a school administrator. So I never thought I was going to do that, but I ended up in that realm. And then, believe it or not, it took me about 6 years, a very political front that I was battling to get into becoming an administrator. Wow. Took me about 6 years to make the move and get selected. And a large part of it had to do with Judge Norcott, who helped me network. Yes. Althea Norcott, his wife.
Great people.
Clifton Graves.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Know these folks.
And Joe himself, and then my good friend, Dr. Joyner, Eddie Joyner.
All great people.
All great people. All friends of the show. All great,
Dr.
great
Joyner's, I had his kids, and I had his son, Eddie.
Yeah.
Who was tad playful back in the day, but a bright guy. And I kind of mentored him through his middle school years. And today, 30 years later, we're still best of buddies. Nice. So Eddie mentioned to me, his dad, if I can ever help you. And after trying to do it on my own for about 5 years, I had coffee with Eddie, and Eddie said, I'll see what I can do. And he got me a few meaningful interviews, one at Martin Luther King and one at Jepson. And I actually was chosen at both schools, and I ended up at Jepson.
All right. Wow. Sometimes you need a little helping hand.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Mr. V was
so I've
known.
tried to return, excuse me, Latif, I've tried to return the favor. A lot of people say if I ever, somebody helps me, I'm going to pass it on. Most people don't pass it on.
Yeah.
They kind of get stuck in themselves. So make a long story short, I basically have lived my life throughout trying to lend and try to be there for other folks.
Paying it
and
forward.
Trying to do the right thing when nobody's looking. I always say that's the true measure of integrity.
That's integrity.
It's what you do when no one's looking. Because when people are around, you can put a little dog and pony show on.
Absolutely. Mr. V was known as, back in the day in the 80s in his prime, he was the cool teacher. You know how you always got, am I right, Kay?
The guy who'll give it to you straight.
I'm like, well, he just mentioned K, and that's Mr. K.
Mr. K, yeah. Oh, rest in peace.
Was, I think we helped each other, but he was passed away a few years back. But he really was the Babe Ruth of school administration.
Yes, he was so
K,
cool.
Mr. Kalazewski was truly the best, and spent many years at Troop.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So Mr. V, okay, so you became an administrator, but all this coaching you did at Southern, you were a assistant coach in the 80s while we were in school?
I was an assistant coach from 85 to 97. Wow. And for 13 years while I was a school administrator, I continued to coach at Southern and Quinnipiac.
Okay.
And I was able to tailor my hours so that I would miss a little bit, but I was able to be basically, I wasn't paid full-time, but I was pretty much full-time coach at both universities for 22 years.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Never wanting to become the head coach.
Never. Okay.
Just satisfied being a support piece.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And so real estate at this time, you have real estate going on as well because you said you went into real estate over 40 something years ago. So you were
Yeah,
doing real estate.
1980 to 2023.
Wow.
I'm still waiting for you to purchase that mansion on the water down in Pennsylvania.
He's working on it. He's
We were,
working
hey,
on
we're
that.
working on it. We're working on it. I'm kind of
Yeah.
happy where I am though. I love my house.
Yeah, leave Connecticut if you can, a little cheaper.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
not we'll not talk about that because we're
Yes.
both getting slammed by Connecticut taxes, but
Uh,
that's the whole other
But Mr.
episode.
V, I'm sitting here listening to this interview, and the impact that you had on a lot of kids at Sheridan from our generation in the '80s. It's a lot in common with another individual from the New Harvard area that we definitely got to have on the show is Mr. Jackson. So I'm listening Wyatt
Yeah.
Jackson. You and Mr. Jackson have similar background in regards to the mentorship that you had towards students and kids that really look up to you. You can't, if anyone sees Mr. Jackson, they lose their mind. You know Mr.
Okay,
Jackson,
I don't
Kareem
know this.
Jackson's father?
I'm not an
Well, that's
athlete, so I missed
okay.
out on all those
Well, that's how
mentoring
Mr.
moments.
V is
Yeah.
out of Sheridan. He's the same way. People see Mr. V, they get excited.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Wyatt's wife, a very close colleague of mine, Annie Jackson,
Absolutely.
taught phys ed, and then we team taught science for years up on the second floor in Sheridan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Wyatt hasn't changed a bit. I kid him. I say, Wyatt, you still have your boyish figure. He's got about a 30-inch waist, not an inch to claim.
We used to call him Walter
Um,
Payton.
Oh wow.
but yeah, no, my wife and I both, uh, for many years, would house kids that were at risk overnight.
Okay.
Wow.
They might be, and you know, it was a tough go because I really didn't have the wherewithal to adopt the kids. But if they were having a tough time, and I'm not sure you could do that today, there'd be too many
So many
naysayers saying, "What is this?"
liabilities and
Yes. Oh my
risks and
goodness.
You know,
accusations. It's a lot. You
but
take big risk.
we had kids stay over the house many times, many nights
Yeah.
when at home might have been at risk, or even a parent might ask, "Gee, I have to work or this or that," and we would have kids over the years, nights during the week normally, maybe a night over the weekend, 2, 3 nights in a row at times, largely from Sheridan, because there were and I was always tuned into the kids teaching that weren't folding their hands, the kids that might have been acting up or might have been calling out and were in need.
Yes. Yes.
And even when kids struggled and got into arguments, even maybe had a minor little pushing and shoving match, I don't think I ever sent anybody to the office.
Yeah.
I would sit them down afterwards. Sometimes I'd walk through the hole in the fence in back of Sheridan and go to the McDonald's. We'd get a 39-cent sundae, and we'd sit and try to settle some things and try to smooth things over.
Yeah.
And that just with my principals, John Courtmunch, Lou Puglisi, and Bobby Kennelly were smart enough
Oh, great guy.
to know that I was not all there and I was kind of out of the box, but I was effective.
Yeah.
So they saw me taking 4 kids to McDonald's at 11 o'clock in the
There
morning.
you go.
They just let it go.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a
And
tremendous
with the
foundation of love. Like, that's what I'm hearing. This foundation of love, it risks it, whatever it risks, but you do it out of love. And that's why you're getting these flowers now. Because people have acknowledged that. That's what it's, I mean, just tremendous. Everybody doesn't do that. And I know you know. So I don't know. I didn't know you from back then, but I thank you on behalf of those that you did that for. Everybody doesn't get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we also did a little coaching at Sheridan.
Yeah.
Like for 15 years, I coached the boys' baseball team.
Oh.
Ah.
Joe again was director, Joe Canzanella. And we played at the end. We were traveling with a city van and playing 30 to 35 games each spring.
Okay.
Might culminate in a trip to Yankee Stadium,
Wow.
Fenway, Cooperstown to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But and I have to really thank Joe Cans. He found the wherewithal, he found the services, he found the money, and he knew my heart was in the right place. And he joined me on many of these trips.
Yeah.
And to date, I mean, actually, yesterday I was out. I don't know. You may know the Great boys. You may know Mr. Great, who ran the barbecue
Joe Great.
on the
Oh, Joe
Joe
Great.
Great.
Joe Great.
Well,
Oh.
I
Yeah,
had Joe
yeah.
Great's grandsons at Shepson.
Wow.
And in the early years, 30 years ago, I would pick them up quite often to bring them to breakfast. And the cycle kind of revolved itself and came full circle yesterday when they invited me out to Pop's restaurant in Milford, and they took me out. And now they're of
Yes.
course in their 30s, and then living in the community, so many teachers. Um, I mean, years ago, slang term they used to call it white flight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But black, white, or green, a lot of people would scoot out of the city at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife taught at Troop from Mr. K,
Mm.
and we all lived, and we still live up in Westville,
Mm-hmm.
um, around the corner from Judge Norcott, and we've all been here for 40. I've been here for 43 years,
Wow.
Wow.
and as being part of the community, you see the kids at church, supermarket, the
Mm-hmm.
little league games, and I used to try to tell my student teachers, even if you only go for 5 minutes, go down to Pop Smith over near Bowen Field.
Yeah.
Go down to Farnham House and show yourself, show your face.
Yeah.
Go to Dee Dee's dance recital,
Yeah.
buy a
That.
ticket,
Yeah.
spend a half hour. You're going to make more points with those kids.
Yeah.
Your classes will be easier. There'll be a learning situation that will be set for you, all because you spent 10 minutes and maybe bought a kid a hot dog,
Yeah.
of which I wouldn't espouse because hot dogs are not too good for you. But
Yeah, just showing up. You're right. But and being in the community. Like that's such a major piece of it. Everybody I mean, you need to teach a class on that. I hope you're still mentoring student teachers.
well, I used to go into Southern Connecticut when the head coach, Tony Barone, would invite me in for at Southern to go into intro to phys ed. And basically,
Mm-hmm.
the story and the talk was of what you could do with a college degree. And basically, I would go in and I do that at Sacred Heart also in the
Mm-hmm.
education classes down in Fairfield. But basically, to show people it's more than the book.
That's
And
right.
uh, early on, my 4 classes that I had, because I had one less than most, because I did a lot of extracurricular stuff. First day of class, I would take the book and throw it out the window. For all 4 classes, I said, this book is meaningless unless we have each other's back. There's going to be
Mm-hmm.
days, I coach, I'm going to come in at 2 in the morning from New Hampshire. I'm not going to be with it. I'm going to need your support. There's going
Mm-hmm.
to be days you had a bad day, you forgot the homework, you got trouble at home. So we got to, and to be honest with you, that was how I set the foundation.
Yeah.
And then you have to live it, though. You just can't say it.
Right. Right.
Kid has a bad day, I'd have him take the test the next day.
Yeah.
Or if I quizzed the kids and they all knew the material, the next day I'd bring ice cream in and say, we're not taking the test. You passed yesterday. And
Wow.
again, I have to thank the administrators because what I did was nothing you would see in a methods class at the university level.
Mm-hmm.
It was just people focused, people oriented,
Mm-hmm.
and it took off like a grass fire.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, take me about an hour to get a quart of milk at the local Stop and Shop because you just bump into all sorts of folks
Absolutely.
from the lineage that
Mm-hmm.
you were part of in the school system.
That
So
is
New Haven
legacy.
Public, we have 4 kids. They all went to Cross. They all went to West Hills. And they all are successful, college degreed, married kids, and really have a lot of the formative support and
Mm-hmm.
direction the kids got was from the schools.
Yeah.
And Wilbur Cross was wonderful.
That's
So we were
Absolutely.
right.
classes in 99, 2001, 2004, and 2010. So we spent about 15 solid years at Cross.
Wow.
Well, they know, I'm quite sure they know or knew or, yeah, they know who their father is when they were at Wilbur Cross. So, I mean, you're a pillar, you're a legacy. Everyone knows Mr. V.
Well, let's just say tried to do the job and not hurt anybody.
That's
Uh,
it.
And
Do
if
no
you
harm.
did may have a misstep, and the kids can see this, the best thing you can do is say my bad.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And that makes instead of trying to beat it down that you were in the right and use your size, not
Mm-hmm.
so much your
Mm-hmm.
size, your
Size and
position of
position.
power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So make a long story short, it's 2 steps forward, excuse me, and 1 step back. That's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
root of the philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And to not count any kids out, because largely,
Good.
even I had some great teachers, but they would have a little pigeonholed idea of what a kid could achieve instead of just letting them be themselves and then they take off.
Yeah.
Love
And
it. Love it.
unfortunately, and then a lot of teachers I had, unfortunately, myself included, possibly at the beginning, we taught the way we best learned. That might be one of the 4 learning styles. So the kids that were active and focused and good with the other 3, maybe they're hands-on or verbal or written. Make a long story short, most teachers will teach and formulate their lessons
based on how they
according
learn
to the
best. Yeah.
standards and the best way they learn. So they lose 70% of the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to push that as a school administrator. Step out, get out of the box, and try to reach all the kids in the class. And the kids that folded their hands and got A scores, I used to tell the teachers, we don't need you for them. We need you for the ones that are crawling across the
Struggling.
desk,
Yeah.
sleeping, and so forth. But the course I slept through was psychology, and that was probably the most important course I probably ever took at Central. Of course, I wasn't focused. But once you get into the school system, you get a real life
You get a
lesson
crash
of what,
course lesson on psychology. That's
what it's
right.
about.
I was a
And
classroom teacher also, Mr. V. Everything you're saying is resonating with me.
and where did you teach?
I taught at John Martinez School. I taught 5th grade, and then I taught in Hamden. I taught at Church Street School, 5th grade as well.
Oh, very good, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So
Because
everything you're
Martinez
saying.
was my last 9 years I spent supervising PE, and Martinez is one of the few schools that has a swimming pool.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
so I was there regularly,
All right.
pushing that, and also the last 10, 15 years, and to this day, I've been part of the wellness committee, and largely the city. I was not doing the best job they could have been doing teaching health. It's only the last 10 or 15 years that they've started to hire actually certified health teachers. So during your years, you really didn't get the health background that was necessary.
Yeah.
So now, due to a lot of people being a pain, myself included, being a thorn in the side of the city, there's some more effective health instruction that's taking place.
Yeah. I was thinking when you were telling the story earlier about what you were doing in terms of health instruction, you were an innovator because people weren't doing that. What you talked about with
Not that I knew what I was doing. Some of it I winged, but
understood the relevance and the importance of it, right? And so I think that's still so critical that you were pushing that needle forward.
well, kudos to 2 of my fellow educators, Annette Vetri and Mary Harrison. I team taught with both of them the sex ed piece, and they were more to the norm and to the standard, and I was out there, to be honest with you. But it was a nice balance, and we had all the kids, and hopefully we prevented some issues. I think there still are and were some issues, but I like to say we provided a quality education piece that was largely from a core curriculum that was developed by Annette Vetri through the Yale Teachers Institute back in the day.
I remember
So this is
Yale
going
Teachers
back.
Institute.
This is going back early '80s to mid '90s.
So, Mr. V,
And
we
then I
got.
left.
I'm sorry. We have
Go
5
ahead,
more
sir.
minutes from our producer. We have 5 more minutes. So, before we end, I want to talk about possibly the real estate a little bit. So, you say you went into real estate. You want to tell us a little about that before we end this?
Yeah, 1980. A realtor we were using was rather dishonest, and we actually bought the house we're in, and it happened to be his listing.
Okay.
And I was his buyer as well. So he got both ends of the commission. And we bid on the house. And I never forget, I said, house was 51.9. I said, we'll bid 52. He said 51.9, we'll do it. Meaning he knew the other 2 offers. And he was basically not ethical.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it till after the fact. I said, let me take a course. And then I took the course and passed it. Then I took the state exam, which is pretty difficult. Wasn't sure I passed it on the way out the door, but I did. And for the last 43 years, I have been meandering around the real estate scene. And to date, 50% of whatever my wife and I bring in the real estate, we give to our 4 kids.
Yeah.
At this point, as long as I have a Dunkin' Donut gift card and a key to the gym, that's about all we need.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
V,
so
you're
that's like,
amazing.
and it basically filled in all the gaps because literally we were eligible for welfare,
Trying to
and
make
I
it in the
had
school
three
system.
college degrees, and my wife had a college degree, and we were eligible for welfare. So what are the families out there doing that are just GEDs, high school ed, didn't
Struggling.
go to
Mm-hmm.
school after that? How are they making it?
Right, right.
With mouths to feed and maybe in a housing project. So you try to lend yourself and get yourself out there and be genuine.
Yeah,
And you don't have to wave your flag
yeah.
because I'm not one to do so. More often than not, as a school administrator, if I came up with a program or did something, I gave the accolades to my teachers.
Mm-hmm,
Don't
mm-hmm.
need the accolades.
Just do the
Unfortunately,
work.
in the
Yeah.
city, but unfortunately, in the city, when you're waving your flag, there's always a 5 or 10% of the community looking to shoot it out of your hand.
How about
So
that?
there's always a naysayer or jealous person.
Yeah.
So you just
Just
leave it
do the
alone
work.
and
Mm-hmm.
do the work, and the kids know, and that's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
Mr.
Beautiful.
V, again, thank you so much for coming on. On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm
And
Teef.
I'm Gigi.
Mr. V, have a great night. Thanks
Thank you
again.
so
Thanks for coming
much.
on.
God bless you, and thank you for putting
God
up with
bless
me.
you.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Oh,
Oh,
great guy, huh?
you said it.
A
You
great
said it.
guy.
And when our producer was like, wait a minute,
Yes,
is it
yes,
that me?
yes.
Yeah, that's
Everything he spoke about, just caring about the
just
kids.
heart, just work that is heart work.
He's one of those
Yeah.
people at our age we see now. We still look at him as Mr. V. You know,
Yeah.
you'll run into him and you're gonna have so much respect for him.
Yeah.
You're eager to say, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going?" Because he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be the same way. He's just gonna
Yeah.
pull you
I
in.
love
So,
it. I love it.
such a great guy, Gigi. Another great
Great
episode.
episode. Thanks for bringing him on.
I'm
He was
enjoying this. I'm
wonderful.
enjoying this. Next week we got a true legend on, so I'm excited.
Let's
Next week.
buckle in. Let's
All
get
right.
ready.
On
Another good
behalf of
one.
Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Have a great night, guys. Take care.